So, George, what would your ET contacts say about your ability to disclose some information tonight? I mean, is this something that they would find heartwarming, or are they saying, Mr. Green, you're saying too much?
No, they don't, neither one of them. They just let me do what I want to. When it comes to them, then I can say what I want to. But my own physical experiences from, running around with some of these people, I'm sharing that with you on both sides. It's like when I first got involved in looking how the bad guys were working, I decided to, publish books and make a movie on it. And as the extraterrestrials have recently come to me and they say, so what good has that done? You need a solution to the problem rather than pointing out the problem. And that's the basis of the handbook.
Have they ever abducted you?
No. Abduction means they've taken me without permission. No.
Okay, but they have taken you with permission.
I have, yeah.
What's the farthest you've gone?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. All I can remember is what they tell me. What I can remember is like sitting in on a meeting discussing the project. And that this particular project that I'm on, which is getting out the information.
So you remember only what they want you to remember?
Yeah, they tried it. They say they don't want to waken me up to too much, is what they're saying.
All right, let's go back to some more calls.
That makes sense to me now. I can be blind like the next guy.
Wildcard line, welcome to Coast. You're on the air. Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'd like to know, George, if your ET contacts have ever mentioned the National Economic Security and Reformation Act to you.
No. Oh, you mean ASARA?
Yeah.
Yeah. The ETs that I've contacted, they don't want to get involved with anything economic. Now, from a very physical standpoint, the NASARA thing is a lie. I mean, you call Ron Paul, he'll tell you not that the problem of the act isn't correct. It's that there's too many people thinking all their bills are going to be taken care of, and this group of people of setting this thing up is going to take care of everything. That's not true. You're not going to get anything for nothing out here today. And you're not going to change the monopoly game.
Do they ever tell you how often they have been visiting this planet, George, when they might have started visiting this planet?
Oh, well, billions of years. This planet has gone through this same kind of sequence many times. I mean, we've flipped on its axis many times. They've been monitoring it forever. We're kind of, the different races were basically the prisoners, if you want to look at it, from different places. We were created as warriors to do the fighting. Remember the law I told you, thou shalt not murder thy fellow man in thought or deed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you were on another planet and you had this totally utopia that you wanted to create, so you don't have any wars or any diseases or any illness or anything else, and you come into balance. And within the universe, you got the bad guys out there. They started attacking you. You want to defend yourself, because if you don't, that's suicide or self-murder. So what they decided to do was look around at the less developed humanoids and engineered them, give them a limited lifespan and intelligence, basically creating their warriors for them. So they didn't have to do the fighting. However, it worked for a while, except for these beings that they created turned on, the people that created them. So what their solution was to round them all up and send them to the far end of the universe, to a planet that has always been used as a prison planet. Like when we send the prisoners down to Australia, remember?
Oh, yeah. And so they've done that to us here.
That's us. And all the different races, with the exception of the blacks, came from different star systems, and basically that same scenario. And the hope was that they would interbreed or intermix and breed out the war tendencies. And they have come down and mated with the women. In fact, in Genesis, it remembers where it talks about
that. The giants coming down, sure.
Yeah, and mating with the women. That was to reintroduce the spiritual nature of man, or the DNA within the programming, hoping the interbreeding and intermix would breed out the war tendencies. Well, it hasn't worked. So what is happening, you and I are stuck in this game of chaos right now.
Is that why this is such a violent planet?
That's right.
It's bred into us.
It's bred into us in our DNA, and we have not been taught the rules of the universe. And basically, this is the kickstart, if you can. But it's too late, I think, at this point, what we talked about before, So what we have to look at is there's going to be a remnant left. And, George, maybe you're going to be part of the remnant that assists to mankind to switch this whole game around. We don't have to keep talking about wars and going after people. I mean, most of this is all a setup.
Maybe. East of the Rockies, welcome to Coast to Coast. Hi.
Hello, George?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is James. I live in a little town outside of Philadelphia. And, hello, how are you doing, George?
The Georges are well.
Mr. Green, I'm telling you, I'm so glad to hear what you're talking about. I got on to your show, George Norrie, Mr. Norrie, in 2001 in Alaska, of all places. And I've got a reverse recorder, the whole bit. Now, I'll be very quick about this. I happen to have taped a program with David Icke.
Yes.
And I heard the other night that Jim Mars you had on. And now, it just so happens I didn't listen to Mr. Icke that night. I recorded it, but I never listened to it until just about 5 days ago. And then Mr. Mars. I've been reading their books for 4 or 5 days. I've read and the Truth Will Set You Free.
Yes.
The Big Secret.
Pretty compelling books, huh?
It's unbelievable. And everything you say, I know, is absolutely on the money. Because when I was 17, out in Wyoming, I saw a UFO. So I've believed it ever since then. And I've been so shocked about the learning. I heard of the Trilateral Commission when I was around 32. I'm 63 now. And it just was a mystery to me. Secret government and all that. But I never heard much after that. I moved to New York, and I heard more about it. And to hear about the Bilderbergers and whatnot, I realized that I was married into a family that is part of that.
Oh, really?
And when I got divorced, I didn't have a chance, but I was too naive to realize. But to make a long story short, when I read about the Bohemian Grove and the murderous attitude of Kissinger and all these people, how they and Clinton, the way he has killed people left and right, had people killed rather. I mean, I was just flabbergasted. I mean, I felt Vince Foster was part of. He had something to do with that, and how Hillary changed $1,000 into $100,000 in 10 days. I was, kind of amazed about that.
Well, but just remember, Jim, that these are all accusations. None of it done with the basis of evidence, and Bill Clinton was never, ever charged with any of those accusations, regardless of what you think or what you think you hear or what the Internet says. You got to go with what the hard evidence is, and the hard evidence is that stuff to date is preposterous. Now, I know, George, how some people feel that some of this is all true, but you just can't run with things like that without having proof. Simple as that. And let's go to our first time call.